What's up guys, Nicola5 here, and the other day I was reading the 47 Principles of Financial Fitness by Chris Brady and Orrin Woodward, and one of their principles was that you shouldn't take advice from people whose lives you don't want to emulate in the area you're taking advice from them in. So like if you want good relationship advice, you shouldn't take it from divorced people or people who always have bad relationships. You should take it from people who have a long-lasting marriage that you want to emulate. And if you want good financial advice, you should take it from people who are doing well financially. When I read that, I realized that I'd been expecting you guys to take financial advice from me when I haven't really told you a whole lot about myself or what my financial position is. So that's what I want to do in this video, is kind of share with you guys exactly how much money I have and what my financial position is. So probably the most common thing that people think of when they think of how rich somebody is just their income. Even though this is the one most people think of, it's the most common, but I actually think it's one of the least important measures of how rich you are. And that's a good thing because my income is actually well below the average or median income. I actually only make about $20,000 a year. Last year, I think I made more than I ever have before, and it was only $23,000. So income-wise, I'm probably not the best person to be taking advice from, but that's not really what my advice is about anyway. So the second measure of how rich somebody is that people will think of is they think of the net worth. And this is a better indicator of how rich somebody is. And if you don't know what net worth is, it's basically if you took everything you have and you sold it for what it's worth, for its regular market value, whatever, and then you use that money to pay off all of your debts, how much money would you have left? So I calculate my net worth at about 17,000. This isn't an exact number. I didn't have an accountant go over exactly how much everything's worth. I didn't count how much this shirt is worth or anything like that. But just the main big things I counted, and it came out to about 17,000. And here's how I broke it down. The biggest thing is my house. I own my own home. Well, the bank owns my home, but my name's on the deed to it. But anyway, my house is worth about $49,500, and I owe about $42,000 on it still. So that gives me about $7,500 in equity in my home. And then next would be my stock portfolio. I have about $4,000 in the stock market. So that brings us up to 11,500 for the net worth. Next would be precious metals. I invest in all four precious metals: gold, silver, guns, and bullets. And if you add all those up, it's about 2,500 I have invested in that, which would bring it up to 14,000. Next is cars. I own two vehicles. The one I still have a loan on. It's worth about 4,500, and I still owe 4,000 on it. So I've got about $500 of equity in there. And then my other vehicle is actually paid off, but it's only worth about 500. So I've got about $1,000 in vehicle equity, which brings me up to 15,000. Then I've got $1,000 in actual liquid savings sitting in a savings account for an emergency fund. So that brings it up to 16. The last 17, I really just estimated what every little thing I have laying around. I have a bunch of video game stuff. I have a boat, kayaks. I have a moped. Just if I sold all those little things, I'm sure I could get at least 1,000 out of all of those little things. So that's how I got my 17,000. the median net worth all across America is 68,828 as of the 2011 census. That's for like everybody though. If you break it down to like if they break it down by age, usually older people have a lot more money because they've been making payments on their house a lot longer. So they end up having more money or more net worth. If you look at only people under the age of 35 though, it's actually a lot less. They say with home equity, it's 6,676, which is like a third of what mine is, a little more than a third. But I'm way ahead on net worth in that department. And without home equity, they say it's only 4,151, which is, without my home equity, I'd be at 9,500. So I'm still way ahead there. The third and final measure of how rich somebody is that I'm going to talk about today is how long you could last without your job. If you lost your job today and didn't have any unemployment or any kind of income coming in, how long could you maintain your current lifestyle before you lost the house and had to go live at a homeless shelter? This is something most people actually don't think of because 76% of people live paycheck to paycheck. So the amount of time they can live is like, it doesn't exist. It's until they get their next paycheck. That's how long they could live. But for me, I could actually maintain this lifestyle for a decent amount of time, even if I lost my job and had no income. My burn rate, or the amount of money I need to maintain this lifestyle, is about $1,200 every month. As I said before, I have $1,000 in the savings or in a savings account, so I've got a month just right there. If I sold all of my stocks and took that money out of the stock market, that would increase it to $5,000, which would give me about 4 months that I could maintain this lifestyle before I had to get another job or ended up in a homeless shelter. But I also have my guns and gold and all that. If I sold all of those, I would end up with 7,500, and that would be enough to survive for about 6 months. And then if you count a home equity loan or credit cards, which I actually wouldn't because it's not something I own, it's just something I have access to. So I wouldn't count that in my ability to survive. But if you did, I could take that 7,500 out of my home equity, and then I've between all my credit cards, I have about another 7,000 credit limit, so I could easily make it a year if I were to go into debt to do it. But even if you don't count the debt, if you think about the percentage of people who can go 6 months without having to get a job and without having to go into debt and still maintain their current lifestyle, it's very few people. It's maybe 5-10% of people. That's just off the top of my head. That's not a statistic I got from anywhere. All the other statistics I shared, by the way, I got from bankrate.com, if you want to go over there and check that out. But anyway, I guess that's why I feel qualified to be able to talk to you guys about how to get your finances in order and how to save money, because I do have that 6 months that I can go without needing a job, where most people don't. But even if I didn't have that, I still probably would try to teach you guys, because even if you're not in the top percentage of rich people or you don't have all the financial answers, you are probably doing better than some people, and those people that you are doing better than can still probably benefit from your knowledge. So you should always be trying to share what you know with people less fortunate than yourself. Thank you all for watching. If you want to see more great videos like this one, be sure to click that subscribe button. And also let me know what you think of this video in the comment section below.